Hey, welcome back to the kitchen. I'm glad you're here. If you haven't met me yet, hi, my name's Lindsay. I like to talk about big ideas, small ideas, all ideas. I like to deep dive into a bunch of different stuff. But today's thought topic is going to be on reverse engineering the life you actually want. So, this comes from a bullet point that I had from a previous video that I marked for myself to expand upon, because I just think that this is a really important topic, because we all have things that we want to do in life. We have goals we want to meet. We have like money that we want to make. We have friendships we want to keep. But like, as life has gone on for me, I have realized that I didn't do a phenomenal job of designing my life. And that's kind of sad, because I actually have a book that I want to share with you guys. I got this book in 2016. It's right here. Hold on. It's called Designing Your Life. I read this book in 2016. It's been in my library ever since. I have some quotes that I pulled out of it. The book itself is really good. It's by these two, I think they were Stanford design professors. Maybe I'm getting that not correct, but like they are, they walk through like essentially a process to design a life that you love. At the time when I read this book in 2016, I was in the knee-deep throes of homeschooling, motherhood, running a business. Like, things were crazy. I couldn't see. I couldn't see far enough in the future at the time. I was very deep into a lot of things that were going on in my life. And coming out on the other side of it now, a decade later, so it's 2026. So I read this book 10 years ago. I didn't really apply much of it to my life until like the last 2 to 3 years. And coming out on the other side of it, I kind of wish that I would have taken it a little more seriously when I read it, because now I'm having to do the things. So it's annoying. Hold on, I just dropped my notes. So, as usual, I have my notes with me because otherwise I'm going to get lost. So, let me start by saying that I think I am, or maybe I have been approaching burnout for a long time. For those of you who actually know me, you know that I am an overachiever. I have to do everything to like 100%, and I am a perfectionist, and it's taken me a lot of years to get to the point where I'm just going to do it, right? Like, just get it done. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how it is. It needs to get done. So I have had to kind of like take that perfectionism in me and just kill it, because if you're trying to be a perfectionist as a beginner at anything, you just won't do it. And I think this channel is a perfect example of that. So, but I also believe that it leads to burnout. But maybe I should define burnout, because I think burnout's like one of those words that just gets overused and it's not well defined. I'm tired, yes, but that's not burnout, because you can be tired and still be having a great time. I'm stressed, yes, but that's also not burnout, because life is stressful. So I think that when I speak about burnout in this video, I want to attach a definition to it, which is burnout is not living a life that you have intentionally designed. So as much as I have made progress in my life, and especially like my spiritual life and my like my marriage and with homeschooling, so as much progress as I've made in all of these different arenas in my life, not a lot of that was necessarily by design. I didn't set out to do well in any of these areas, and I think now that some of those things are coming to a close. Like, my son will graduate next year. He's basically launched, like, he doesn't need me that much anymore. So the homeschool mom hat that I wear is going to be put in the closet pretty soon. And I just didn't design my life well for what happened after that. And I think that that is probably a common thing. And I would think that that's common not just among homeschooling moms, but I think that's probably just common among moms, among wives, maybe just among women. And I don't know, like, I'm speaking for myself here, but I feel like I get enough feedback from other women when I'm talking to them that this is just a common occurrence. When I was having a conversation with my husband about this, he was a little less, like, I don't know the word. Okay, so I'm going to say some things that I'm generalizing here, and of course there's always exceptions to the rule, but I am not the exception to the rule, so I'm speaking about myself here. I think that men are better at doing this than women because they are more logical and they have a better capacity to think in terms of boxes. So when my husband comes home from work, he has the amazing ability to turn off work and be a husband. When I come home from work, I have the amazing ability to carry work through always. I don't have an amazing ability to turn off my job. I just don't. And I think, like, I'm not good at compartmentalizing, but my husband very much is. And so this idea to, like, reverse engineer your life, I think it's just an idea that probably men are better at implementing or thinking about than women are, in terms of, like, actually doing it and not having to think that hard about it. So hopefully I'm articulating well enough there. But I just think that in my case, burnout is living a life that was not intentionally designed. So here I am working these two jobs. I like each of the jobs in different ways, but neither one is particularly fulfilling. And maybe fulfillment is not what you're supposed to get out of a job. I don't really know how I feel about that yet. But also, I think that so I just recently reread. I was going through my library, cleaning out my books, and I realized that it had been a decade since I read this Designing Your Life book. So I picked it back up. It's a quick read. It's not hard. It looks like a big book, but there's a lot of, like, charts and homework things that you can do in it. So anyways, I just reread it, and I think I realized that I kind of spent I spent my years optimizing for the wrong things. Maybe the right things in the season that I was in, but not for, like, life. Because I'm very good at optimizing for the thing that I need to be doing right now. So if the house needs to get cleaned, I'm very good at optimizing, getting the house cleaned, delegating the chores, yada, yada, yada. If we need to pay a bill, I'm very good at coming up with the money. I'm very good at picking up a second job and working 80 hours a week until that bill is paid off. So, like, I'm very good at optimizing quickly, but I would call that, like, reactive planning and not proactive planning. And I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's a girl thing. I don't know. I don't know that it matters all that much, other than that to say that I just kind of spent my time optimizing for the wrong things, or things that weren't lifetime, that weren't gonna, like, carry me through all of life. And so now here I am in my 40s being like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's like I'm lost, but I'm not lost, but I don't know what to do, and I do know what I should be doing, and I don't know, I'm just very confused. And so I thought, oh, this book might help me here. So I don't think I asked a lot. So one of my next point is that I don't think I ever asked myself what kind of ordinary life I really wanted. We can all say that we want these things, right? Like we can all say that we want, in my case, a vacation to Greece. I would love to go to Greece someday. It's probably never going to happen, but that's like a someday thing, right? I can say that I want enough money in the bank to feel comfortable and not concerned if a wild bill pops up. And I can say I want to lose weight. And it's one thing to say those things, but then like just put them out there in the ether and hope that they turn into something. That's not really designing the life that you want. That's just kind of like wish casting, right? Like that's like, oh, maybe if I say this, I'm going to manifest it. And I don't believe in any of that. I think that like you're going to get the things that you really desire because you're working really hard towards it, and because you're pulling the right levers, and because you know the right people, or you know the right things, or something. Like it's not just gonna fall in your lap. Hold on, my arm is really tired. So I had the second biopsy done, and so I'm a little sore. But if you want to know what that's about, go look back in my previous videos. Okay, so I think the question that changed everything for me in that book was, what do I want my average day to look like? So right now, my average day looks like I wake up early, I go to work, I'm exhausted all day, and then I come home and I rarely make a from scratch meal anymore because I'm exhausted when I get home. Sometimes I'll make like a quick meal, and then I jump in the shower. If I am not completely wired or burned out or exhausted, then I'll read for 30 minutes and then I go to bed. And because I'm exhausted and I don't love what's going on in my life right now, I don't sleep well, so I don't get up early, and then I just do that thing the next day again, and then the next day again. And then I typically don't work on Thursdays, but sometimes I do work on Thursdays. My schedule's kind of all over the place. So it just becomes this like cycle where my day doesn't even look anything like I want my day to look like. And some of that I can't help because I currently do need to work, but some of that I can help, and I'm not helping myself. Okay, so the question is, what do I want my average day to look like? And for me, I just picked a Tuesday. What do I want my average Tuesday to look like? So let's say that money is no option. You have all the time that you want, all the time that you could possibly want. You don't have to clock in anywhere because you're financially free, and you don't have like anyone making decisions for you. What do you want your average Tuesday to look like? So for me, I want to get up early. I really enjoy coming out here and being out here for the sunrise with a cup of coffee and my cat. I want to have that quiet, slow start to the morning where nobody is demanding anything of me, and I can just get some morning sun on my face, do my Bible study, have a cup of coffee, snuggle with the cat. Like, I am not talking about flying to Milan on a Tuesday morning here. I don't think what I'm like listing out is crazy. I don't think it's crazy. But when I started writing it down, it felt pretty crazy. So that's what I want my average Tuesday morning to look like. After I have my coffee, do my Bible study, snuggle with the cat, and get some morning sun on my face, I want to work on something meaningful. And meaningful can mean different things to different people, but I want to do work that means something. I don't want to not work. And I think that's like a surprising revelation to me, is that I want to work, but I want to be in charge of what I'm working on, if that makes sense. I don't want somebody else to be telling me what I should be doing. I'm an adult. I'm capable of figuring it out, but also, how do you find a job that does that? I don't know, but I think what I discovered when I was doing this thought experiment was that It's not that I want to do nothing. I mean, when I'm burned out and stressed out and exhausted, I'm choosing to do nothing, but it's because I'm burned out, I'm stressed out, and I'm exhausted. So that's why I'm choosing to do nothing. But if my time was my own, I wouldn't be choosing to do nothing. So that is a thought. That's a thought, right? If your time was your own and you weren't stressed and you weren't exhausted, would you still just lay around and do nothing? Because I would not. I can prove that because even though I'm stressed and exhausted, I'm usually not laying around doing nothing. I'm still trying to move the ball forward to some degree. So right now that looks like I am taking some insurance adjusting courses online. I signed up for some online classes at the local state college. I'm trying to move the ball forward in any way that I can, right? And that involves me working. But it involves me working towards something that I want to be doing. It involves me working towards something to me that would have meaning. And so I'm still working. I'm just doing it in a way that to me means something. And then I want to be able to take a walk in the middle of the afternoon. I want to be able to make a slow lunch and sit and eat a slow lunch and then take a long walk after lunch. I want to be able to make myself a coffee after I take my long walk and get home. Drink a really cold glass of water and then go back to working on something meaningful. And then I want to be at home when my husband gets home from work so that I can ask him, hey dear, how was your day? I really figured I missed that. I missed that interaction of being at home when he gets home. I want to be able to cook meals for my family. I want to be available for when somebody says, hey, do you want to go to the beach today? I want to be able to drop everything and say, yeah, sure, I can go to the beach. So like, as I'm reverse engineering what my ideal Tuesday looks like, I'm realizing that my current life does not look anything like what my ideal Tuesday looks like, right? And it's not because of my jobs necessarily. That's not it. Although my jobs do require me to be out of my house and I can't drop everything, that's not even the defining factor. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I could still be getting morning sun with my jobs because I don't have to leave the house until like 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So I could still be getting up at 6:30 to catch the sunrise. Do I do that when I'm working outside of the house? No, I do not. There is something about being forced to leave my house at 7:30 that just makes me angry. But like, if I don't have anything going on that day, I will get up at 6:30 without an alarm clock and be as happy as a little clam sitting on the patio drinking my coffee watching the sunrise. I don't know. There's something wrong in my brain, I guess. I can't tell you. I don't know what unresolved trauma that is. Maybe there's a psychologist sitting out there watching this who could tell me what that's about. But yeah, so I've been off work for the last 2 weeks recovering from these surgeries, and I've been getting up without an alarm clock, without fail, at 6:30 or 6:45, and I'm completely okay with getting out of bed and coming out to have my coffee. But you tell me on a Monday morning when I gotta go clock in at 8 o'clock that I gotta get out of bed at 6:30 so that I can get my morning coffee and sunlight and Bible study, and I'm just gonna be mad. I'm just gonna be mad about it. I don't know. There's something not right up here, but that's okay. I can't be the only person that is dealing with this. So what can I do to move the ball forward in life right now where I currently am? And I think that's get over it. I think for me, I just have to get over it. I have to get up at 6:30, even on the days where I'm working and I don't want to. I need to get outside. If this is something that's important to me and that's what I say my ideal Tuesday looks like, then I need to be making it happen. I can't just be like, ugh, I don't want to get up early because I have to work today. No, you know what? Like today, I got up early. I don't have to work today. And I would be coming home from work right now, actually. And the whole day would have passed by anyway. So I should just be doing what I need to be doing to make my ideal day more of a reality. And so I just need to suck it up. That's the bottom line there is I just need to suck it up. I think reverse engineering the ordinary, that is like a key concept here. So dream vacations are easy, right? Like it's easy to say that someday I want to go to Greece, but the ordinary day reveals how you actually live or how you actually want to live your real life. So in 10 years, I want my Tuesdays to look the same. Would it be great if I'm relaxing on a beach in Greece? Sure, I'm not gonna lie. But that's not what I want my actual life. That's not what I actually think my life is gonna look like. What I actually am hoping that my life looks like is quiet, slow mornings where I own my own time and I'm doing something meaningful throughout the day, and I can be there for my family, and eventually when my son gets married and has kids, I can be there for his family, helping them. So the life that I'm currently living right now isn't designed for that, and so I need to make my current life reflect what I want my future life to be looking like, and not in some sort of like nebulous someday sort of way, but in a way where I can actually be working towards making that look realistic. So that's why I'm taking certifications. That's why I'm taking classes. I'm still working my 2 jobs. I'm still just as busy and chaotic as ever, but I am moving the ball forward to the best of my ability. And I think reverse engineering your life helps you see with some more clarity what that's going to look like for you. If your average day is miserable, your life is probably going to feel pretty miserable. So I think that's what I've realized. My average days are fairly miserable. I like my jobs. There's challenging aspects in both of them, in different ways. One job is very challenging physically and socially. The other job is very challenging mentally and emotionally. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that other than I haven't found a good way to balance that. And so I'm thinking, because it's been 2.5 years at one job and almost a year at the other job, I haven't figured out how to balance that in me yet. And so these probably aren't good fits, which I'm good at what I'm doing. And I could see doing them, for a while, but it's not moving me towards the life that I see for myself in the future. So it's not worth me investing a lot more into these jobs that I'm currently in, if that makes sense. So I think the key point there is that I need to be designing my daily rhythm before I'm chasing any bigger goals, because the bigger goals need to be falling into that daily rhythm. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. I can sprint. I can do hard things. I can do very hard things for short periods of time, right? My arm is really hurting, so I'm gonna I should go get my tripod, but here we are. So I can sprint and work really, really hard for short periods of time, and just be explosive with that sort of effort, but that's not what's sustainable over your lifetime. That's not how life actually works. So I need a daily rhythm, and these couple of weeks off of work for these surgeries have been great, actually, because they've helped me establish a daily rhythm. And now the challenge is going to be, when I head back into work in a week, I need to keep this daily rhythm going because it's feeding something in me that will sustain me while I'm juggling all of these different things that I'm doing to design the life that I actually want to be living. So I kind of covered like what I want. I covered what I want in my ideal Tuesday to look like. I jumped ahead in my notes. But in order to get there, meaning of money needs to change for me and maybe for you too. So money for me has always just been a tool. It's not been like a thing that I'm chasing because I need more of it or whatever, but it's always been a tool. Money buys options. Money buys margin. Money buys the freedom to say no to things. And so for me, I needed to stop asking what pays the most. And I've actually been having a lot of conversations with friends of mine that I work with at one of my jobs, and we keep circling around this same question. Is the money that we're making here worth the stress that we are under in this job that's not getting us anywhere? And we've all kind of agreed that the answer is no. So a few of us have enrolled in classes at different schools to try to pull ourselves up out of that. I'm doing certifications for a different thing on top of that because I want options. And then, so the question for me was, where do I point this? And I talked in an earlier video about like maybe going into nursing or something that's like pretty lucrative, but I had to stop myself because I don't need what pays the most. I need something that I'm going to really find meaningful to do, that I'm going to enjoy doing, that's going to be sustainable for me for the next 20 to 30 years, that pays enough to support the life that I want. And when I'm looking at the life that I want, it's not some like luxurious Gucci handbags on a yacht kind of life, right? Like that's not what I'm asking for here. I am asking for a very normal, very quiet kind of existence. And I think that maybe that's the millennial in me trying to crawl out. Like I've had enough once in a lifetime crises. I just want to get some chickens or something. But yeah, so I'm asking for like a very normal existence. And so that actually gives me a whole lot of opportunity, right? I don't have to be making 6 figures in a job. My husband makes pretty good money. We live a pretty stable life. Things are tight, obviously. I still have to work, but we've made it a long time without me having to work. And I guess we're at a point now where, well, for one, we really can't go much longer without me working, because we can't be any more frugal. But 2, anything that I'm going to be bringing in is going to be extra on top of what he's making. So, I know that not everybody is in that same situation, but for me, that affords me, sorry if I make a face, my arm is just really, really hurty right now. So for me, that affords me some opportunity, time, options, which I know other people don't have. So for me, that's like just where I'm at in life, right? So I had to start asking, instead of chasing what pays the most, I had to start asking, what kind of career supports the life that I want? And you know what careers don't support the life that I want? The ones that I'm currently in. They just don't. I want to be working either remotely or hybridly. Mostly from home. I want to be at home as much as possible. I want to be in my house. I love my house. I love my family. I love my husband. And I want to be at home as much as possible. So the careers that I was looking at, initially don't support that type of future. They do not support the future where my husband is retired, but I'm still working. And I don't even know if my husband will actually retire. He's the kind of person that will probably work forever because he likes to work, which, I mean, I could see that happening for me too. But that helps narrow down what to do when I grow up, right? Because there are careers that are not going to support the type of lifestyle that I'm looking for. I don't want anything that's going to have me out of the house for 12, 14, 16-hour shifts. Not interested. I don't want anything that has me climbing some sort of corporate ladder. I'm not interested. I've been offered several promotions at one of my jobs, and I've turned them down because I've seen how the management at that particular job they're all divorced. Okay, and they don't ever get to see their kids, and they're married to their jobs, and that's not what I want for my life. So I know right now that is not where I want to be. So I think some of the questions that are worth now filtering for myself is, does this move me towards the life that I want to build? And if the answer is no, then it can be a hard no, and that's okay. I don't have to take every opportunity that comes along. Does this thing that I want to do create peace, or does it steal it? Because if it steals it, it's an automatic bin, right? It goes in the trash immediately. I'm too old. I don't care enough to be involved in silly things. So if it's not creating peace, it's not for me, and it can pass to somebody else who wants to deal with it. And I have started applying those two questions. Does this move me towards the life that I'm building, or does this create peace to work, home, spending, routines, my relationships even? And I think the answers for that can be nuanced, obviously, but I think they're a lot less nuanced when you actually are ruthless about these questions. So there have been certain relationships that I've just had to let go of over the past 3 years because, first of all, I don't have time. I have 2 jobs. I have a house that I'm running. I'm married. I'm homeschooling. I have all these different things going on. So there are certain acquaintances that I just had to let go of because I just didn't have the time to foster those relationships, especially with people who were maybe not aligned with what I was doing in life, or who were really difficult. That includes family. And hobbies even. There's hobbies that I've had to let go of. There's spending that I've had routines that I've had to let go of. Things that I was doing at home, including deep cleaning, had to let go of it. Don't have time for it. So I think the surprising thing in all of this for me was that I realized that the life that I want isn't extravagant. It's just intentional. And that makes it a lot easier to make decisions. And I'm not a decision paralysis type of person typically. Usually I'm pretty quick to make decisions, and I'm pretty able to be no, that's not for me, right? But with this kind of transition out of homeschool mom into working mom, it's been a lot harder, but my brain's been a lot noisier, just carrying a lot more. So it's been a lot harder to have clarity to make good decisions. So these questions have been helping me make good decisions. I have this little closing thing written down, but I don't have the finish line yet. I don't know what that looks like. I know that I'm still building it, but for the first time, I think I know exactly what I'm building towards. I don't have maybe the end big picture, but I know what it doesn't include, and I know the things that I want it to look like, the big picture. So I don't have all of the pieces, but I have the outline of the puzzle, right? So as I'm asking myself these questions, I'm filling in one more puzzle piece every single time I make a new decision. And I think if you can reverse engineer your life, it gets easier to ask yourself questions about your career. So my question to you guys is, if you could do this thought experiment and reverse engineer your life instead of your career, what would you change first? What does your ideal Tuesday look like? If money and time are no option, what would you choose to do with your money and time on a Tuesday? So, yeah, let me know what you think about that. Also, highly recommend this book, Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. How to Build a Well-Lived, Joyful Life. I am sure I got this on Amazon because that's where I buy all my books. But it's an older book, so if you can't find it, maybe check a library. I don't know. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. If you could be praying for me, today the prayer that I'm asking for is for continued clarity, for continued feedback in as I'm like applying these little experiments to my life and figuring out what's going to work and what's not going to work. If you continue to pray for my healing here, this has been pretty sore and painful. And of course, if you've got any prayer requests, you can leave those in the comments as well. I'd love to read your guys' comments and respond to them. But yeah, so I think that's where I'm going to end today's thought video. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!